Welcome to I Said What I Said. I'm Brad Wakai. That's Tyson Gentri. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our Super Bowl picks extravaganza show. It's been a full year since we've been able to do this. We're back in the saddle for this thing. It's the last episode that we're going to do when we're previewing a game, we're betting on football until the next season begins. So we're in the saddle for college football. Tyson's not wearing a hat. That should tell you where he is. He's nervous. He's ready to get this game kicked off.
Oh, I wish, man. It's I don't know. Hats are great, but it snowed like 4 feet where I live the last couple of days, so I'm not even in the right headspace, man. I don't even know necessarily what's going on.
I know, and Tyson, I got to say, man, I just golfed on Tuesday, and then I just had some golf lessons earlier, and so this whole thing, Tyson's over there freezing his ass off in Montana, and I'm over here just lounging around and being able to get ready for the Super Bowl in my own leisurely time. And so what we got going on today, ladies and gentlemen, as Tyson takes care of some business that just popped up, we're going to go through our game picks. That's what we got on tap first. Then we're going to go into player props, straight player props as we get through this. Then we're going to get into our long shots. And then we're going to close with an SGP. Both Tyson and myself cooked one up. And then we're going to get you out of here. That's it. That's the Super Bowl. So, Tyson, it's the last time we can play this. You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into it.
It's money-making time.
Game picks time here, folks. Before we get into it, smash that subscribe, smash the like. You know how it is. Let us know which your favorite bet is of the Super Bowl. We might tell you. We want to make some money on this with you, so let us know in the comments. And as we get into this, Tyson had the best year out of the two of us. So I'm going to let you have the tee box here, sir.
Yeah, not a crazy eyeball. I do want to point out, you said that we're done betting on the NFL and stuff until next season. The draft's in April, and you and I both know we're going crazy for that. So if you miss football during March, you're watching too much college basketball, we'll be here for you, with draft coverage. But, yeah, let's do it. Let's get into some of this stuff here. I got the box. I'm going with the Eagles to win the football game at plus 102 here on FanDuel. If you listen to the preview show a couple weeks ago, I was confident in the Philadelphia Eagles. If you listen to one earlier this week, I'm a lot less confident in the Philadelphia Eagles, but I do feel that if this game is going to be treated as a toss-up, then give me the plus money side, and I think the Eagles are going to win the game, so that helps too.
So I'd be on the side with you, Tyson, because I predicted the same thing, that the Eagles are going to win, but I have a big future that I placed a while ago in the season. I have to pull up my account to see exactly when it was, but I'm riding that out. And people are like, oh, you want to hedge? I made the mistake of not hedging last time against the Chiefs. Yeah. I'm more confident about this Eagles team in this game, so I'm going to roll it again. And the Chiefs could potentially cost me, a couple grand here each way, but that's all right. I'm going to roll with the team, and I'm not going to hedge. Hedging is for landscapers, and yes, it may be smart at times. This is the Super Bowl, folks. We're going to be stupid. We really have a ton of bets and are spraying the board.
If you came here for professional, high-level, smart guy analysis, not what we do. But what we do is hit those futures earlier in the season and then sit on those in the account and get unruly nervous, and then we get to cash them at the end while everyone tells Brad how stupid he is.
Exactly. And so, Tyson, with that in mind, as I said on the future, I'm going through and I got extra time to think about how I'm going to attack this. I'm going to be boring. I'm going to go first half under 24. That's minus 125 on MGM. Depending on different books, I think you really want to shop around on this line. Here's why I'm going with this. Kind of like the prize fighter, right? These teams know each other. Everybody's kind of looking at the fireworks that happened in the first time these teams played. These are completely different teams. It's defense-oriented. It's ball control dominant. And I think it's going to be cagey to start, and we're going to have a lot of tick, 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 tick on this clock. We're going to try to see the line of scrimmage being established. I'm going to go under 24, and I think we get a cagey and slow start to the game.
Well, let's see if we can both hit, because I'm going over for the overall game total at 48.5. I think that if you're in between us, then maybe like the third quarter is the highest scoring quarter, because this feels a little bit like it could be a college football game to me, Brad, where these defenses are awesome, and then all of a sudden we've seen it so many times. The dam breaks on both sides, and then it's just boom, boom, boom up and down the field. I'm taking the over mostly because I want to watch it too.
That's fair. And Tyson, how about this to get the juices flowing to start? On DraftKings, they're offering the plus 100. I'm going to take tails. Come on. Let's go. It's been heads, I think, 3 of the last 4 times or something like that. But Tyson, tails never fails. Tails has actually been the most popular, and I heard this on Early Edge, so I got to shout them out. This is not me doing the research. different show that I listened to. Since they got this new coin, this newly minted coin that they use, tails has been the most likely outcome, or the one that's hit the most. Now, heads is on a run here. We got to have some reversion, right? It's a 50-50 split. We get the plus money each way. I'm going to go with tails, and let's get this in the pocket as we kick off.
I don't know, dude. I think if DraftKings is giving out plus money on tails, this thing has heads on both sides of the coin. That's all I got for the game picks, brother.
Me too. That's it. I'm playing 2 on that, and then what we're really going to do here is load up the player props. I mean, Tyson and I both are trying to find different things. There's just a ton of markets that are being offered on these different domestic books. So we got a bunch of these for you here. So Tyson, we both have a ton. So why don't you lead it off?
I will start it off. I'm going with Saquon Barkley MVP. It's plus 260 on DraftKings. I told you before the show, I think the Eagles are going to win the game. And, quarterbacks win this award quite often. I think that this NFL season has been a bit of a movie. And the way that it feels to me like it's going to end is with Saquon Barkley holding that Super Bowl MVP.
I think this is a really sharp play. If you like the Eagles, it's because of Barkley, I believe. Like Jalen Hurts, yes. He can have a good game. He had it in the Super Bowl the last time, but everybody loves what Saquon Barkley's been doing this year. And I think if the Eagles are going to win, it's going to be because of him. Now, Tyson, this one might scare you because this could potentially swing the MVP to the other side. I'm going to go A.J. Brown over 69.5 receiving yards, minus 110 on FanDuel. I hear a lot of people talking about the bracket coverage and McDuffie and, A.J. Brown's a monster. And this guy can take the top off the defense. I know a lot of people are asking for the slants and the outs. This guy is elite at the go route. This guy can catch the ball and go to the house. I think he's going to be a focal point of this offense, and I would not be surprised if you have a monster game. Let's go over 69.5 receiving yards.
And I do think he's the favorite on the board on like all books for a player to have the longest reception here. So that could play into your favor a little bit. I'm going with the other Philadelphia Eagles receiver, Devontae Smith, over 52.5 receiving yards here. I'm sure everybody's heard it by now. This is the guy that quote unquote kills Steve Spagnuolo defenses. I mean, he averages like 85 or 90 yards a game against him. So 52.5 feels good to me. And again, as we mentioned in some of these previews, I think Smitty's going to find himself as the hot route for Jalen Hurts a little bit more often than we're used to.
So I'm going to attack this going over 20.5 on Smitty's longest reception, minus 114 on FanDuel. And it's largely because I think potentially he can get behind this defense and he can do a deep crossing route. He can do something like that, or it's kind of streak down the sideline, great footwork on that part of the field, and he catches a bomb. I think Devontae Smith is live in this one. I don't know if he's going to have like the 100-yard games. Maybe he's the one, like Tyson said, doing the safety valve and out routes and things like that. But I do think he's liable to catch a big one. So I'm going to take my shot here. I'm going to go over 20.5 longest reception for Smitty.
I'm trying to get some redemption for the show on this next pick. I'm going Noah Gray over 11.5 receiving yards here, minus 110 on FanDuel. We talked about it. The Philadelphia Eagles awesome against tight ends all regular season, and then the playoffs started, and whether it was we think it was by design that tight ends were killing them, but the stats don't lie. The tight ends were killing them, and Noah Gray can get schemed open if all the focus is going to be on 87.
Tyson, you're either going to love this or you're going to absolutely hate this. I'm taking a shot, and I'm pointing out like I'm Babe Ruth. I'm pointing to the stands. I'm calling my shot. Jahan Dotson catches a ball here, over 2.5 for the longest reception, minus 110 on BetMGM. The guy's been a ghost. We thought, former first-round pick of the Commanders, we thought him coming in was going to be the slot guy that was missing. Well, that's just not how this offense operates, right? It's Saquon Barkley, it's A.J. Brown, it's Smitty, and it's Goddard. But 2 weeks to prepare. This guy's been a ghost. Why not throw him out there and have something here? Like maybe just like a little jet sweep, a little pop pass or something, Tyson, just a little slant route. The guy can take it to the house if you get him the football. So Jahan Dotson over 2.5 to come off the milk carton and make a play in the Super Bowl.
For our audio listeners who haven't tuned in on YouTube, Brad does have a Penn State flag hanging loud and proud behind him. If you've been listening to the show and you keep going, enough with Dotson, man, that might play into it a little bit. You're going to be so mad when Johnny Wilson catches a bomb. I'm going with Dallas Goedert over 4.5 receptions. We talked about it all week. I think that this is going to be the way the Philadelphia Eagles try to ease Jalen Hurts into the game. They try to put some things in Kansas City's head that, like, okay, we are going to throw over the middle of the field. And he's missed so much time this season that some of these numbers for Dallas Goedert feel, criminal.
I'm with you. Over 4.5 receptions, minus 128 on FanDuel. Like Tyson said, same thing. I think I think he's going to be a focal point of this offense. I think he's really going to be involved, and like safety routes, out routes, things like that, and, drop downs, tight end screens. Tyson and I both ride with Dallas Goedert.
And I'm also going to take Dallas Goedert to catch a pass on the first drive. That's sitting on FanDuel plus 120. And I've said it enough this week, but I think that he's getting the ball early in this game.
Yeah, I like how you're getting involved there. I mean, that is something that's interesting to me, Tyson. Those first quarter or these first down or drive bets, like I try to be sharp on those. I have not had success. In fact, I drained my account one time. So I was like, how is Justin Jefferson not getting the ball here? Like every single time I was doing like a martingale thing. And, like, okay, well, I'll get the money back here when he hits. And it was just like, dude, you are out of money now. So I did not advise that. I think it's that's an interesting play. So I'm staying away from that. Tyson, I'm going to go with the little Chiefs love here. 𝐬𝐫𝐽 over 6.5 receiving yards minus 110 on BetMGM. Guy hasn't been a huge thing. Who'd they go to at the end, though, to close out the Buffalo Bills? 𝐬𝐫𝐽 on a one-on-one with the linebacker. Like we talk about Oren Burks. We talk about, some of the safeties and matchups here. I think we may be looking at Travis Kelce as the guy who's going to be somebody who's a beneficiary of the question marks around Oren Burks, things like that. Maybe it's 𝐬𝐫𝐽. Get him. He's a really good route running back. They like getting him involved in the passing attack, whether it's a screen, whether it's a dump off, whether it's a drop down. I think he can get over this number.
And you're going to hate this one. Travis Kelce to catch a pass on the first drive for the Kansas City Chiefs, minus 110. We were talking before the show. I can just picture this Kansas City drive being some sort of like 7-minute march down the field. And I think that their first drive might offer more opportunities for Travis Kelce to get his catch.
Yeah, that's interesting, Tyson, because like I think one of the things that you're banking on here is you want those extra possessions, of course, not telling anybody that they don't know if you're trying to catch this. But it's like, all of a sudden it's 3 and out. It's like, well, he ran the ball twice. And
I'm a Birds fan. I'm taking all that. I'm happy.
So with that in mind, I'm taking Isaiah Pacheco over 5.5 rush attempts, minus 134 on DraftKings. Like this is a guy that's not been involved much since coming back from his injury. Tyson, I don't think that the running game is going to be a factor here, but this is low. I mean, another week of prep, another week of being able to kind of integrate him into the offense, all that stuff. I think they might try to establish the run here. You could get some Kareem Hunt looks, but it's a long football game. And I think Isaiah Pacheco is going to tote the rock a little bit. So give me over 5.5.
Yeah, and it feels like the Kansas City Chiefs running backs are the unsung heroes of this whole thing. Like Damian Williams probably should have won MVP a couple years ago. Isaiah Pacheco did a heck of a job establishing it on the ground against San Francisco 49ers. So Andy's not going to shy away from that. Speaking of running backs, Saquon Barkley over 109.5 rushing yards, minus 110 on FanDuel. I told you before the show, there was a time in my life, and I'm honestly the same way with every other player still. If that prop starts with a 1, I'm not touching it. But this guy's special. I have him to win MVP. So it's either hit them both or hit neither.
Love it. I saw this market and I had to jump all over it. Zach Bond to record the most tackles and assists in the game, plus 190 on FanDuel. He's the favorite. And I think this one to me is just great. So you kind of get a little scared with the Chiefs because they're going to be throwing the rock around. You think maybe that reduces his role a little bit. The running back, the Eagles are going to try to run. Does that boost Nick Bolton up? But Zach Bond has been so involved still in the passing game, running down tacklers, getting those assists. If he matches up with Travis Kelce, if he has to do anything like that, if stuff gets in front, like the Eagles want to keep it, then I think Zach Bond's going to rack this up and rack these numbers up. And I think he's going to hit this number. He's going to lead it, and we're going to get plus 190 out of it.
Yeah, I mean, this is all sounding, like we're talking through midnight green colored glasses, and it mostly is because we are. Saquon Barkley, longest rush over 23.5 yards. I mean, this is something we talked about at the beginning of the playoffs. They keep setting this line right here, and he keeps beating it, and I think he's going to do it again. We talked whether the Chiefs can limit him to 1 home run. That's a win for them, and they happen to everybody. The only team they didn't happen to basically was Cleveland.
Everybody's talking about this guy's sick, and Vic Fangio saying, I hope he plays. Jalen Carter's going to get a sack. Plus 130 on BetMGM. They're going to be double teaming him. He's going to eat on the middle. Patrick Mahomes is going to run around him. He's going to come in here, and he's going to record a sack. We're going to get him on the board. Everybody's talking about, he might miss this game because he's not feeling good. He ain't missing this game. He's going to go Jordan flu game, and then Jalen Carter's going to wreck the game. That's what I got here.
If you're bullish like Brad, the Eagles over 2.5 sacks is plus money right now on FanDuel. It's plus 132.
Wow.
I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes completions over 23.5 here. This is a game I think they're going to throw the football a lot. We've talked about it a ton. And when they're averaging 7 yards a pass, I think that, there's more opportunities for completions to be had. This isn't going to be, your Pat Mahomes completes 20 passes for 400 yards kind of football game. I think that this might be like, dude, he's going to throw the ball 60 times.
Yeah, I think he's going to be involved a lot too. And so that's an interesting number for sure, especially if they're going to be able to dink and dunk a little bit like they want. Tyson, last one for me in this player prop slide. I'm going to take Devontae Smith, 25-plus receiving yards in each half, plus 290 on FanDuel. So I like him to go over his longest catch reception. So I guess it's close there. Maybe it's one and I get screwed on that front. Tyson likes to go over for the game. I think Smitty's going to be involved here. I know a lot of people are not highlighting Devontae Smith as a focal point of what this offense can be. I do think he's going to be involved, and I think he's going to have a good game.
And if jet sweeps are involved, like the Eagles showed us in the NFC title game, that gives you even more opportunities there. My last play for the individual prop slide, Patrick Mahomes under 35.5 yards for his longest completion. It's minus 110 on MGM. I don't think they're going to be able to hit the big play against the Philadelphia Eagles, as the defense is the best in the league at limiting those big shots. And dude, a 30-yard touchdown is still a bomb. I think 35.5 yards is a bit of an insane number in any NFL game.
Okay. Let's get into the long shot section here. And so this is how we're describing things. Anything that's plus 500 or longer. That's what we're denoting here as we move into this. Tyson and I each have 3 picks. Why don't you leave it off, good sir?
I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts 2+ touchdowns. It's plus 625 on MGM. We saw the Kansas City Chiefs stop the Buffalo Bills version of the tush push. The Eagles just run it different, and I think that they're still going to be able to have those conversions on. If they're on the one, it's a tush push and it's going to be a touchdown, and that's the way this thing goes. And he might get a couple. Last time he played in the Super Bowl against Kansas City, he had 3 rushing touchdowns. Last week against the Washington Commanders, he had 3. So this is a number I'm comfortable with, especially at plus 625.
So this is kind of like a CYA for me. I'm taking a 3-leg parlay of DeAndre Hopkins over 11.5 receiving yards, Saquon Barkley over 12.5 receiving yards, and then Dallas Goedert to get into the end zone. That's plus 1135 on FanDuel. Now, the Hopkins thing, I think he could have like 2 catches, 1 catch that goes for a big chunk play. He only played 11 snaps against the Bills. I think he's going to be involved a little bit more here. Again, Andy Reid with 2 weeks. How can they get one of their guys involved a little bit more? So I think over 11.5 is a good look here for Hopkins. Barkley's the risk, I think, when it comes to, are they going to actually use him in the passing game? He's not been a focal point in recent weeks. Is he going to be involved in more chips? Are they going to use screen game? But that's what I'm banking on. Maybe use him as the outlet. Use him as a screen. All he needs is 1 good block. He's in space. He's gone. And then Dallas Goedert to get into the end zone. He's almost in there last week. To Tyson's chagrin, he came up short. Tyson, I got to say, I'm feeling a Goddard game. I know a lot of people are, but if it's not across, the outside the or inside the 25s and it's a red zone thing for Goddard, I mean, he's a big enough body. He looks healthy. I think he can kind of plant the linebackers that the Chiefs have to offer here. So give me Goddard, get into the end zone, and let's cash this long shot.
I love it. If you're listening to this and you notice Brad had defensive plays and I didn't. By the way, I've known Brad long enough in my life that I'm going to be receiving so many texts during this game. How does DeAndre Hopkins have 9 yards right now? I need him for 3 more. So just take that in mind. But Brad threw out some defensive props. I normally like to get involved on that end, but I'm saving him for the long shots this time. I'm going with George Karlaftis to have a sack and cause a fumble. It's plus 1,200 here on FanDuel. Jalen Hurts maybe holds onto the ball too long. We've seen him be really good at protecting the football. But again, like if you're getting hit on the blind side by a guy that weighs 270 pounds, it's just hard to hold on. And George Karlaftis is good at getting that thing out. At plus 1,200, it feels okay.
That is super interesting. I can't even believe Tyson's rolling the dice on this. I mean, this is nuts. You want to talk about CYA covering your ass on this one? I mean, my goodness. So if from the same studio that brought you the Zach Bond tackles and the Jalen Carter sack, why can I interest anybody in a half-unit play on Darius Slay to pick off Patrick Mahomes? I mean, come on. Let's get a pick for our boy Slay at potentially the last game in the Eagles jersey, maybe. I mean, this guy's nickname Big Play. Why wouldn't it come on the biggest stage? Let's go.
That would be awesome. I'm staying in the same market. I'm going with Nolan Smith to have a sack and cause a fumble, plus 1120. We saw the Kansas City Chiefs, have some unfortunate, or, depending on who you were viewing last week, I mean, the rest of us in the country were like, damn, like they can't get any of it. But I think that Nolan Smith gets through. Look, there's some parallels. It's a very truncated version of the Brandon Graham story. This guy was a bust. This guy comes out and emerges, and he's about to win the Super Bowl with a strip sack. It's 2 years instead of 13 or whatever for BG, but I do think Nolan Smith is going to be the beneficiary of Milton Williams and Jalen Carter flushing Patrick Mahomes outside the pocket.
Did I say big play Slay? Yes, interception would be great. Huge momentum churner. How about going to the house after picking it off? 0.25 units on a plus 6,500 long shot here to close things out of this section. I mean, I get this picture. He jumps an out route, Tyson, like little soft little route from Hollywood Brownie. One of the reasons why two different teams moved off him. He just a little lazy little out route, and here goes Slay. Boom, he goes to the house. Everybody's celebrating. It's a Darius Slay moment. I can picture it, man. I'm betting it.
I hope so. I think that sounds awesome. Are we ready for the SGPs?
Let's get into the SGPs, folks. So, disclaimer again. We know that parlays are not smart, but this is the freaking Super Bowl. Let's have some fun. Let's get involved. Let's have a good time, and let's go here, Tyson. I'm going to let you go first because again, you got the T-Box. You've had a great year, so I think it's well deserved. So here you go. What is your Super Bowl SGP?
It's going to be Jalen Hurts over 36.5 rushing yards. This is something that I'm going to play straight up as well. I just didn't want to inundate everybody with some of these individual things. Xavier Worthy, alt line, 60-plus receiving yards. I think that he's going to be the beneficiary of some of these 8-yard Patrick Mahomes passes. Devontae Smith, 60-plus yards. I think it's a Devontae Smith game. And then Dallas Goedert over 49.5 receiving yards if you hadn't had your fill of Dallas Goedert props. That comes out to plus 1565 for that four-legger.
Woo, boy, oh boy, man. That is tasty looking. I'm looking at that, Tyson. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's something that intrigues me. I gotta say. I'm not as juicy on this one. I got a little bit more legs. Tyson was trying to keep it to 4, so this is how mine shapes up here. I have Saquon Barkley touchdown, Jalen Hurts touchdown, AJ Brown 40-plus yards, Devontae Smith 40-plus yards, Dallas Goedert 25-plus yards. On the Chiefs side, Travis Kelce, 5-plus receptions. Xavier Worthy, 4-plus receptions. So I'm going to walk through it here. I think Barkley gets into the end zone. Just the minus 190 is too juicy to give out, too juicy to play on its own. I do think Hurts gets in by himself. I'm going to pair those two together. I think if you want to play those in coordinates, it's plus 200 on FanDuel. The A.J. Brown 40, Smitty 40. These are the weapons. These are the guys. I think they're going to have to win their one-on-ones. I think they do. I think there's going to be more passing in this game from the Eagles than people expect. And I do think I do think that Spagnuolo is going to say, okay, we understand that you can throw a little bit, but we want to make you beat us that section before we just drop back, guys. I think they're going to stack the box a little bit. These guys have to win. I think they will. And Dallas Goedert, he's liable for one pop against this linebackers units, 25-plus paired down. I like that. Now, the Kelce angle, 5-plus receptions. Everybody's on the Kelce angle, and I think he can get involved. I don't know how big of a game he's going to have from a yardage standpoint, Tyson, but I do think he's a good security blanket, somebody that Patrick Mahomes is going to target and just middle of the field, need him on third downs. And then Xavier Worthy, 4-plus receptions, pop passes, out routes, things like that. I do think he's going to get involved. So that's plus 970. Tyson and I both coming with our SGPs to close out the football season.
And speaking of closing out the football season, this is the last time I will tell you guys, hop in the Discord. Group name, as I said, what I said. Tons of different stuff in there as we close out of the NFL. I mean, the NBA whole world just changed. We did a couple shows. We did one on Luka, one on De'Aaron Fox, and then the rest of the NBA said, let us get involved. So one of those is probably going to be coming for you as well. There's college basketball on, NHL, anything you can think of. There's plays in there and channels for you. And also let us know what you're playing in the Super Bowl here. We want as many 15-leg same-game parlays for 2 cents as you can muster.
Yes, please. So, as like Tyson said and alluded to, there is gambling angles from that stuff, but we got you covered from content. I mean, stay subscribed. We did the Luka stuff. We did the De'Aaron Fox thing. We're going to have to talk about what happened in this trade deadline world. There's a new big 3 potentially in Golden State. We'll break that down. So stay subscribed so don't miss a thing. Smash the like button on the way out if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to podcast form, we appreciate the 5 stars that a ton of you guys have given us. It really helps us become more discoverable. We've seen our numbers jump insanely throughout the course of this football season. So thank you for that. And then share it with a friend, share it with an enemy. Maybe you guys are sharing it with your enemies and they start hate listening to us. I don't know. Maybe they love us. Who knows now? Maybe share it with a friend. But we appreciate the numbers that we're getting here on YouTube and for a podcast. It's been a great football season. We'll be back breaking it all down. What happened? I might be in Philly for the parade. Who knows? I might be crying myself to sleep. Who knows? We hope you have a great one, whether you're watching with friends, whether you're at a bar, whether you're hosting a party, at a party, by yourself like Tyson and I will be. We hope you enjoy the game, and we'll talk to you all next week. Peace.